Is everybody ready?
Sure. No, go ahead.
Ronaldo, you okay?
Yeah, I'm fine. Ready.
Inflation is near a 40-year high, and working families are struggling to get by. Food prices are through the roof, we're getting crushed at the pump, and the dream of owning a home is far out of reach for many. And energy prices have skyrocketed here in Rhode Island. As everyone knows, the Public Utilities Commission recently approved a 47% rate hike on electricity. With the majority of Americans already living paycheck to paycheck, this is absolutely unacceptable. As winter approaches, this steep increase will force people to choose between heating and eating, especially our seniors on a fixed income and low-income Rhode Islanders. That is why I am calling on Governor McKee to immediately roll back the massive rate hike on electricity, which was approved by the PUC. Based on current conditions, the governor could issue an executive order declaring the existence of an energy crisis in Rhode Island and then utilize the emergency powers to address this crisis. In 1980, the General Assembly passed a law which stated, whenever the governor finds that existing or impending abnormal energy resource-related market disruptions threaten the welfare of the citizens of the state, the governor can issue an executive order declaring the existence of an energy crisis. The law defines energy crisis as a condition of danger to the welfare or economic well-being of the citizens of this state due to existing or impending abnormal market disruptions as they relate to energy resources. An energy resource includes, among others, crude petroleum, natural gas, and electricity. As you know, the Rhode Island PUC recently approved a significant rate increase on electricity, which went into effect October 1st, and is considering a large increase in gas rates, which will go into effect on November 1st. These two increases are interrelated. As explained by a witness for the public utility, Rhode Island Energy, natural gas prices are a primary factor in setting the spot price of wholesale electricity in New England. These large increases in natural gas and electricity prices are the result of an abnormal energy resource-related market disruption arising in part from the war in Ukraine. A witness for Rhode Island Energy explained, this is not a normal year. The impact of the Russian invasion in Ukraine has fundamentally changed international markets for natural gas, including liquefied natural gas. Russia's invasion of Ukraine and the intentional restriction of natural gas exports to Europe have thrown international markets for natural gas and LNG and the U.S. balance of supply and demand into disarray. As a result, over the past year, natural gas purchasers in the U.S. and particularly in New England have faced extreme and sustained increases in the cost of natural gas. Another witness for Rhode Island Energy stated, electricity and natural gas prices in New England are typically higher in the winter than in the summer due to high demand for heating. However, forward natural gas and electricity prices for the coming winter have also increased dramatically relative to the prices that prevailed last winter. A key factor causing this increase in Russia's invasion in Ukraine in February 2022 and the associated disruption of the natural gas market caused by Europe's heavy dependence on Russia for natural gas. Europe's sanctions of Russia and the ensuing disputes over natural gas supply. Europe's efforts to replace Russian natural gas supplies with supplies from other sources sources increase the price of natural gas in the U.S. The Russia-Ukraine war has caused a disruption in global natural gas markets and a shortage in natural gas supplies worldwide. In turn, this led to dramatic increases in natural gas and electric prices in New England. Therefore, with current natural gas and electric prices not reflective of normal market conditions, the governor can declare the existence of an emergency crisis. The declaration of the existence of an energy crisis due to the Russia-Ukrainian war's impact on natural gas supplies would be comparable to the type of events that first led to the enactment of the State Energy Crisis Management Act. This law was enacted in 1980 after the oil crisis of 1979, which was triggered by Iran's Islamic Islamic war. After declaring the existence of an energy crisis in Rhode Island, the governor has extensive remedies and energy powers to address this crisis. The governor can establish and implement any programs and plans necessary to control and regulate all energy or energy resources. The governor can amend and rescind any orders, rules, and regulations. For example, the governor could use his or her emergency powers to amend or rescind a PUC order which increases electric or gas rates. The PUC is part of the executive branch. Through its decisions, it regulates utility energy rates, and these decisions are referred to as orders. The justification for amending or rescinding a PUC order would be that the recent increase in electric or gas rates reflects an abnormal disruption in natural gas supplies, and that such large increases threaten the welfare and economic well-being of Rhode Islanders. The associated electric and gas supply costs not charged to the customer would then be deferred and recovered from customers at a later date when prices come down. For instance, a witness for Rhode Island Energy noted that prices for December 2023 forward contracts are well below the prices of December 2022 contracts, which indicates that natural gas and wholesale electricity prices are expected to fall between 2023 and 2024's winter season. Furthermore, the governor has the ability to issue executive orders to address an energy crisis by suspending any regulatory statute prescribing the procedures for conduct of state business. This power could potentially be used to suspend all the collections of the gross receipts tax on electric and gas utility bills under Rhode Island General Law. The justification for suspending the gross tax receipts on electric and gas bills would be to reduce the overall utility bill to protect the welfare and economic well-being of Rhode Islanders from high energy costs caused by the abnormal disruption of natural gas supplies. In recent years, governors have suspended a wide variety of statutes utilizing their emergency powers. Under the Rhode Island Emergency Management Act, the governor can suspend the provisions of any regulatory statute prescribing procedures for the conduct of state business. During the pandemic, both Governor Raimondo and Governor McKee relied in part on this law to suspend and modify the operation of a variety of statutes, including laws in which calculated the unemployment tax on business, set the rates for child care providers, determined the eligibility to receive government services, and changed the date of an election. If a governor has the emergency powers to suspend and modify statutes to assess unemployment taxes on businesses, then presumptively, the governor has the power during an emergency to suspend the collection of the gross receipts tax on utilities and their customers. Further, the provisions of the State Energy Crisis Management Act are, quote, to be, quote, liberally construed, or construed liberally. Also, the Rhode Island Superior Court has determined that a governor has broad emergency powers in Southwell versus McKee. Lastly, it should be noted that there are checks on the governor's authority during an energy crisis emergency. For example, an executive order declaring an energy crisis can be rescinded by a concurrent resolution of the General Assembly at any time after the energy crisis declaration has been in effect for at least 60 days. So I am here today calling on the governor to use the emergency powers prescribed to him by Rhode Island General Law to relieve the burden of a 47% electricity rate increase on working families. Do your job, Governor. Help the people of Rhode Island. Don't saddle them with a 47% increase to their electric bills before the winter. If Dan McKee does not take action, the people of Rhode Island should know that on day one I will. We deserve better. And with that, I'll take questions.
Given all of that, what steps would you take? Emergency powers, what emergency steps would you take if you were governor today?
I'm asking the governor to do this today. I'm asking him to put people over politics, we have given him a 146-page document that shows him how he can utilize emergency powers to help the people of Rhode Island. So if I were governor today, I probably would have done this, well, not today, I would have done it not yesterday, before that.
So, Ms. Kalus, the governor's office is claiming that this statute was meant to deal with energy supply, not the prices. And to use it to cut prices would open the state up to lawsuits, implying that this is just not a realistic plan, and I'm guessing they would say it's posturing.
It took him 24 hours to respond to us telling him he had this power to do it. So he's wrong. It's not just about supply, it's about price. It's very clear that the law said it should be liberally construed. And I suggest that he read what we wrote. We have it on our website. We have all the attachments. We have everything that he needs in order to do his job. And I would ask that just because somebody who is running against him has a good idea, one that will help working families, that he puts people over politics and does the right thing. I will, if he does this because people are choosing between heating or eating, I will be the first to commend him for taking this action, because it's the right thing to do.
As the Republican candidate for governor, other Republicans may find it surprising that you're calling on the government to interfere with a private business and cut what they say they need to maintain their business.
This is a crisis, and when there was testimony and this new company came in, there was assurances that price would not go up. And so I am concerned about the people of Rhode Island. This qualifies as an energy crisis. The job of a leader is to take immediate action when the health and welfare of Rhode Islanders are in jeopardy. That is what is happening now.
Ms. Kalus, what if you defer these rate increases and then prices don't go down next year, they go up? Do you then eat the cost, or do you permanently freeze the rates?
They're projected to go down. That is
How
what
do
we're
you know?
seeing now.
You can guarantee they're going to go down?
We believe that is what is happening. That is what the markets are signaling, and so that is what we believe is happening. We need to focus on the fact that
But what
we
if
have an
they
emergent.
go up?
What if they go up? I mean, it is projected. It is a very clear forecast, one that we see from energy companies that are relatively okay at predicting things other than abnormal market disruptions, that we expect the prices to go down. So I think what we need to focus on is that we have the ability to take immediate action and help Rhode Islanders that are choosing between heating and eating to reduce these bills. The governor has failed to act. He has failed to do his job. And quite frankly, I think that the hesitation is because he probably did not know that he had this authority. Or, even worse, he doesn't care.
Actually, the other night in the debate, Governor McKee, I know there's another crisis in Rhode Island. The other night in the debate, Governor McKee called himself the education governor. Today, RIPAC has said that the public school system in Rhode Island is a crisis. Is that why you believe he will not release those test scores?
Yes, I believe that he is holding those test scores hostage for political reasons. Parents deserve to know what the scores are. Teachers need the scores. We have a huge crisis in education. It is a civil rights issue in terms of children that are trapped in failing schools and our inability to really take the necessary steps for education reform. We need different leadership.
What is
in
it,
terms of the
just a
energy-
brief follow-up, and what does it say if he's the education governor and RIPAC is saying that the public school system in Rhode Island right now is in a crisis mode?
Well, I think we need a different education governor then.
Okay, right where we
Governor
go was wrong.
Ms. Kalus, question for you. If on the energy crisis, this may be a private business, but it's also a private business, I'm talking about Rhode Island Energy, operating under a monopoly, and as such has got negotiated profit margins that most folks consider excessive.
Yes.
Isn't there room for the governor and the Public Utility Commission to negotiate, quite frankly, just a better deal on their profit margin?
Correct, and they've deferred costs and expenses already, so we're just asking for more. So let's talk about the structure of energy. So an energy company functions in a natural monopoly. That is why it is perfectly normal for the state to regulate it, because of the nature of that sort of market, which is why getting involved in this way would not be unusual. What is unusual is to do nothing when there is a crisis like this.
The educational report, we reviewed it before it was released. We were full of mistakes.
What was full of
The right report was full of mistakes, had to be corrected before it was released. Did you know that?
Which mistakes are you speaking of?
A lot of mistakes.
Okay.
A lot of incorrect. When they put the numbers out, it was incorrect. And that was fixed 2 weeks ago.
Okay. I think the overall sentiment of the reports on education is that we are in crisis. There has been a failure of leadership, and that we must address our serious issues with education. And the other part that I find of note is that the steps that we need to take are well-worn steps. They echo what I put in our education plan, and I never claimed that our education plan was revolutionary in any sort of way. I just said, let's do the hard work that is necessary, the hard work that we know results in turning around failing schools and reforming an education system. And if we do not do this as a state, we are violating the civil rights of children who should have the opportunity to learn. The way that you access opportunity is through education. We are failing children. We need to do the hard work. It is also an economic problem for the state. It causes economic issues to not have an education system that is performing well.
Governor McKee, all his life, pro-education. And he have a track record of proving that he's pro-education. When he was lieutenant governor, mayoral academy, it's a lot of stuff he did for minorities and education. I mean, what is wrong?
He has changed with power. So Mayor McKee might not recognize Governor McKee. Mayor McKee was for charter schools. Governor McKee lets special interests write his education policy. So I do not believe that he can run on both records at the same time. And the reality is that we need change. We need somebody who is willing to do the hard stuff. And when it comes to special interests, he folds like a chair. We need somebody who will be able to do the hard steps and lead. He is not a leader.
You and the governor are both.
Go ahead, Steve.
You and the governor are both out with rather biting ads aimed at each other today. What's your response to his ad, and what does this contribute to the tone of this campaign?
You're speaking about the ad where it says she's not from here?
Yeah.
Yeah, that's such an ugly message. It's such a deeply undemocratic and un-American message. We are a country of immigrants. We are a melting pot. It is what has made America innovative, prosperous, and kind. I think that the message in that ad is one that is not worthy of a governor, and I think that it smacks of nativism, which quite frankly threatens democracy. I think that that message, no matter how nice of a face that you put on delivering that message, is not one that's for Rhode Island. You know, Rhode Island is made of immigrants. We have had various diasporas, so the idea that that is a qualification, that somebody isn't born and raised, and that excludes them, is a deeply un-American message. And I would say that he should take that down, because even if it is delivered in a way that sounds kind and hokey, the message is very ugly.
Contrast that, if you would, with your ad.
Which ad?
Utilizing out today, utilizing your children.
Yeah.
What's the difference?
Oh, with Tyler, I mean, it's an ad saying that his mom can take a hit. My children, Tyler is so excited. He's my middle child, so he always feels like he's in the middle. He's excited to be involved, and the reality is that that it is a different message, which is that, and I think that the message for me is, I'm tough. I will make sure to do the hard stuff that is necessary. But the reality is that the policies of Dan McKee have failed the state, and we need change. However, I did not revert to a deeply un-American principle to deliver that message, which is what he did. I have my 10-year-old who is really excited to be in a commercial there, delivering a message about how his mom is tough. I am tough. My family is tough, and we believe in what we believe, and we believe in the ideals of America, which is democratic, that you can make it in different places, and everybody deserves a chance to participate and to civically engage. And whether you are born and raised here or not, born in America or not, you are welcome and part of a community. And the message should be, if you want to contribute to Rhode Island, you're welcome. Rhode Island is a state that can benefit from a diversity of ideas. We do benefit from a diversity of ideas and opinions. And I would like to run a campaign that is based on vision and substance, a competition of ideas and policies. And the reality is the governor's record is one that doesn't speak to good governance, which quite frankly is also anti-democratic. You must follow the rules of government in order to ensure the integrity of those institutions.
Ms.
Ashley,
Kalus, in which
I-
state did you file your income taxes in 2021?
I actually am not sure that we have filed yet. I think we have a few more days. And so I will make, I will look into that. But I think we have a few more days left. I don't think we've actually filed yet. I get the call, and what I would say is I would happily release those so that the people of Rhode Island, the parents get broadcast scores, and we can get the subpoena to his administration. That threatens democracy, not releasing a subpoena to your administration that is speaking to govern. So I will gladly make that trade with him. So he can pick a date. I might just need to coordinate to make sure that we've actually filed so I can release it. But I can call, and if we want to do it tomorrow, I would ask him, let's pick a date. We'll pull out our calendars, and he can release those two things, and then I will happily release my...
Why
Actually,
not just do it
last-
because it's the right thing to do?
Tell me why you think it's the right thing to do.
To release your taxes
Correct.
and let people know. You say you will do it, but why is there a condition?
My financial, so let's go over. So if anyone wants to see my business interests, my financial interests, and what we've done, you can go to my ethics disclosures form right now online, and you can pull that down, and you can see every business that I'm involved in, and my family, and my investments and my interests. So if you're, that's something we can do, and I would encourage that everybody look into that. Also, what they should look into, which is critically important, is campaign finance reports that show who contributes to whose campaign and how special interests influence elections. What you get with me is somebody who is not beholden to special interests. So I would encourage not only that people look at a governor's personal interest, but also look at the people who invest in their campaign and how that elected official may be influenced by insiders. What you get with me when you see that is you see transparency, and you do not see anybody who owes anyone anything other than the people of Rhode Island.
Actually, last night there were 2 Connecticut police officers killed, 1 shot, seriously wounded. You're not running just against Governor McKee. It's the McKee-Matos ticket. They're even raising money together. Now, they have a record. She supported defunding the police. Lieutenant Governor Sabina Matos, that the media won't report on, supported that. Governor McKee spoke at an anti-police rally, September of 2020. Law enforcement in this state feel Governor McKee-Matos' team do not have their back. Would Governor Kalus ever support defunding the police?
I just want to say that I am so sorry to those families and those individuals, the officers that are injured. That is just unbelievable. I believe that it is important that we maintain public safety, and that we need to ensure that the relationship between the police and the community is healthy. And we need to enforce the laws that we have and also maintain that relationship. We need to have a country, and I'm going to talk about this in terms of divisiveness. We cannot continue to have such a divided country. It is not good for democracy, it's not good for our state, and it is not going to help us get through an economic crisis that we're getting through. We are in an education crisis as well. So we need to really be focused on having a leader that is able to move us through this time period. And I really don't like divisive politics. I think that
But you would have the back of police officers.
Yes.
They feel they don't have the back.
Oh,
Do you
yes,
think,
of course.
is that why Governor McKee kind of hides Lieutenant Governor Matos, because she supported defunding the police?
I can't figure out why he hasn't used this emergency order. I can't figure out anything that this man does, quite frankly. So I can't even speculate on why he does things or why he doesn't. I mean, I feel like I've given him a way to provide immediate relief to working families, and I'm happy to commend him for doing the right thing. Whatever he needs to take politics out of this to help with an energy crisis, I am happy to do what it takes, because I know ultimately that if he enacts these emergency powers, the result is that families will be better. It won't be choosing between heating or eating, and there won't be a delay. So what I will say is, I don't profess to understand Governor McKee. My leadership style will be different. And if somebody has a good idea, I refuse to let politics get in the way. And there is no justification for not doing this now. And if he needs reassurance or something, because this is politically awkward for him, I would say that you are elected to serve the people of Rhode Island, not to just try to get elected as governor. His main responsibility is to the people of Rhode Island, and I have given him a path to help the people of Rhode Island. I expect that that he exercise leadership and maturity and take this path. We spent a lot of time to give him the justification, and it is what he needs, and I just say that he needs to do the right thing. Thank you so much.
Thank you all.
One last question.
No, thank you.
Last week you released an economic development plan which included significant tax relief for lower income tax brackets, elimination of several tax brackets, as well as sales tax relief.
Yes.
Why, first of all, what's the reaction been to that? Has the McKee administration reacted to that? Because that would seem like really good stuff for people.
It is. So what we need to do is we need to reduce income taxes for individuals making $150,000 or less a year, and then we also eliminate it for those making under $50,000 a year. That is a form of providing immediate relief. That is what our plan stated. Because the idea is, in a crisis, you provide immediate relief while doing the long-term difficult things to structurally improve the business environment. So that plan allows us to deal with an economic crisis and then also do the hard work with our structural economic competitiveness issues. If he wants to take that as well and use that to help the people of Rhode Island right now, because we could get started there, that would be great. I think that a leader takes good ideas no matter where they come from. And my ideas as an economist are sound, and I will work very hard, as you see with this, to ensure that people always come first, and that you have somebody that's interested in doing the work, interested in doing the policy work to protect the people of Rhode Island. We do not see that with him. Thank you.
Thank you all.